Do you ever really know when it's live? Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ and Friends. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and my guest today is me, but I'm also being joined by my good friend and cohort, Susanna. Please welcome her to.
Hi.
Hello, you
Okay.
look so good. I know you don't like it, I know you don't like the spotlight on you, but you just look amazing. What is it, like 80 pounds now that you've lost?
90.
90?
90.
That is amazing. And she
Yeah.
did it without starving, weighing, or measuring,
Mhm.
going hungry. I mean, your story in itself is just remarkable, which is why
Oh.
you've been featured like the last couple of years on The Truth About Weight Loss. But I think not only do you look amazing, but I feel like you feel happier.
Yeah, that's the most important part of all is how I feel, like completely life changed. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, AJ.
Well, yeah, I love it when people get it. I mean, we're not here necessarily to talk about weight loss because I'm not in that field anymore, which is why I'm passing the banner over to Suzanne because in my new Chef AJ and Friends community, which starts tomorrow, Suzanne is a very important part of it because she's going to do all that. But actually, we're here today to talk about the C word. Is that backwards for you guys?
No, it's good.
Okay, good. Because yesterday was my 2 year, I guess they call it CANCERversary, because on April 15th, 2023, I was diagnosed with stage 1A lung cancer, now stage 3A with metastases. And I wanted to go live yesterday, but I actually didn't feel well yesterday, which we'll talk about. But I don't mean feel well like emotionally. But I mean, it wasn't an emotional day because part of me was like so happy that I'm still alive 2 years later. But I was also really sad because now it's kind of like it's getting, when I say it's getting serious, it's not like it's getting serious and that the cancer is growing. It's getting serious and that I'm in treatment and it's like, oh shit. But we'll talk about that. But first, on a positive note, let me thank people for the most recent gifts. You guys do not have to get me anything. The next gift needs to be a bigger house. I cannot house all these gifts anymore, but I do thank. So let me just show them. Okay, so this is from Sandy, and this is a book called You Are Not Alone, and it also came with a check. Please keep your money or donate it to Camp Wiser so somebody can go to cancer camp. But thank you so much for this. And then we have, oh, from Victoria Moran, who is a fellow Aries. Her birthday is the day before mine. This V could be for Victoria, but it's actually a vegan necklace. Very beautiful. Thank you, Victoria. Not that she's even watching, but this lady may be watching. This is a mutual friend of both of us. This is quite an extraordinary gift from Colleen. Look at this, Susanna. This is basically a year's supply of
Nice.
Dr. Furman's vanilla powder. This is the second time in
Nice.
this. This bag costs several $100s. I know that is really just too generous, Colleen, but thank you. It's a wonderful vanilla powder, vanilla bean powder, different than vanilla powder. And this will last me a year. And the reason I know that is because a couple of years ago, Laurel gave me one for Hanukkah. And I mean, I love gifts like this because they don't take up too much space. And this is the gift that keeps on giving because I use it all the time. And I will think of you with every teaspoon. Thank you so much, Colleen. Hopefully, you've gotten a written thank you by now. If you sent me something and you didn't get a written thank you, it's because, believe it or not, we're getting some gifts with no name. And Amazon will not tell me who it's from if you don't check that little gift box. Now, this is from, okay, let's get the names right. Of course, oh, she's also sent a bunch of jokes. This is from Eileen. Eileen, if you're watching, I know how much work goes into quilting, even though I've never done it. My sister used to. She made me a Scooby-Doo quilt. I won't open the whole thing, but look at this beautiful quilt. And she made a matching one. And the other side is also a very, very pretty pattern, but I would love the paw print. She made a human size quilt and one for Bailey. Isn't
Aw.
that really clever? So thank you. That's all I've got to show right now. And if you have any gifts, feel free to show them.
Me?
Well, oh, you've got your True North sweatshirt on.
I do, yes. I have a little story about this. This is the first time since high school that I was able to buy a size small and it actually fit. And I was so excited that I wore it out of the office with the little S sticker on it. and didn't realize it. And right then I was meeting with a friend that I'd met there, and she drove me down to Sonoma County to do a little shopping and look around because I haven't seen much of California. And we were sitting about an hour later eating our True North lunches, and I went to take a picture of us together, and I still had the S sticker.
I think that's adorable. When I first became a size small, I used to never take the sticker off at first. And so congratulations. We were just discussing before we logged on, if you were not so tall, not that you're tall, so tall, I'm too short. I've got some clothes I would love to send you, but I feel because of your height, they're going to come up to here on you, you know?
That's right. That's
So
right.
so let's talk about yesterday. So 2 year anniversary, but really people have only known since, I think, when did I come out? November. So November, 7, so 6 months. Other people have had 6 months to deal with this and deal with it, people. And so I had a lot of mixed feelings because I was a little bit sad because the last 2 years have just been, they've been pretty stressful for me emotionally because there's so much, really there's so much uncertainty in life, but there's a lot of uncertainty with cancer. And then, somebody sent me this quote. You've probably heard it, Susanna, and many of you have. You can have 1,000 problems in life until you have a health problem, and then you'll have only one.
Yeah.
And so I people ask me, how are you? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that question because up until 15 days ago, physically, I've always been fine because cancer doesn't usually have symptoms. At least that's what I'm told. And by the time somebody has symptoms from cancer, it's very late stage. But I developed something called pancreatitis, and that happened about 15. Today's day 15. This is the first day that I actually feel human. And here's the thing, you can blame the Keytruda, which it's a very strong possibility that all roads seem to lead to that because it happened the day after my last infusion, which was April 1st. But when you look into the medical literature and the drug thing that comes with Merck makes this, less than 1% of people get pancreatitis or esophagitis or gastritis from Keytruda. But 2.5 million people worldwide are taking this drug. 1% is 25,000 people. So it seems like it's a strong possibility because if it didn't come from the Keytruda, then that means it's idiopathic, meaning we don't know the cause. But in a person that never has drank alcohol, that hasn't had caffeine in 40 years, these are things they tell you when you have pancreatitis. They tell you, Susanna, here's what they told me. So when I first mentioned my symptoms, which is extreme nausea and extreme pain, especially under the ribs, and it goes to the back, and when you eat, it's just horrible. And by the way, here's the thing. So True North is different when you go to fast under medical supervision. The treatment for this is called NPO, nothing by mouth. So I was doing nothing like at home for 3 days, taking just the tiniest sips of club soda so that I wouldn't dehydrate, which unfortunately I did because I didn't want to be hospitalized. But it's actually really, really hard. So when I first wrote the doctor about that, they go, okay, well, stop all caffeine and alcohol. And I'm like, and I said, well, I don't even consume those. They go, well, eat a very bland, low-fat diet. And I go, if my diet was any blander or more low-fat, I would be water fasting, which is what it is. So it's really interesting that the treatment of pancreatitis, now that I'm starting to eat something other than cream of rice, that was my first food. And when you haven't eaten, even cream of rice doesn't taste that bad, but you've got to put salt on it for it to be palatable. And I do eat salt now because my lower blood pressure number was like 31. And that's really, really low. So, yeah, it's been quite a ride because I haven't felt well. Really, I don't feel my best today because I kind of live on a heating pad. But, I just don't want that to be my future because if I'm going to feel bad the whole time between treatments, it's like, do I even want to be in treatment, right?
How often are the treatments?
So right now they're every 3 weeks, and I've had 2 successful treatments. The reason I say two is the first one on February 6th, where I had what was called an infiltration. It didn't go in the vein. And the thing is this could have been a one-off. And so there's always a chance that if I have it again, I'm scheduled for Tuesday, it won't happen again. But if it happens again, I think they're going to believe it's from Keytruda because how can this, happen twice? So I saw someone called a pancreatologist at Stanford. They only deal with the pancreas. And because my CAT scan was normal, they're like, well, we're not sure it's pancreatitis. I'm like, but I have all the symptoms. My lipase, which is an enzyme, was very, very high. I don't know why they don't want to say for sure it is from that, but here's the thing. I'm tough, so I'm going to go one more treatment.
Hmm.
And if I get it again, I'm going to have something in place where at least I'll have pain meds, or really you're supposed to treat this in the hospital. I don't know if anybody out there ever have pancreatitis. It is really, really painful. People have told me, at least people that have had babies have said that it's actually easier to deliver a 10-pound. But you've had 8 babies, so you
Then it
deliver.
must be pretty painful.
That's right. That's right. And generally people deliver babies without drugs. So, but anyway, I'm in a good mood today because I'm talking to you, my friend. And tomorrow we're going to start something really fun. And I know a lot of people had questions. They've written in, and I even see a few in the chat about what's Chef AJ and Friends. Well, you are my friends, Chef AJ and Friends, but we're moving it to a community so that we can be more intimate. And, right now I can see what you type, but I can't see you. And so many of the wonderful membership groups that exist, it's the same way. Like the person that's like the leader will do a cooking demo or a talk, and then people can type. And that's not how I want to relate to people. I want to be able to see them. And so tomorrow we start our spring cook along. Suzanne is going to be cooking with me, as well as any members that have already joined that want to. And you want to show up the beautiful PDF.
Yeah, this. I had this printed off for today because I went out to the produce store this morning to pick up my ingredients. So we got this beautiful PDF with, I think there's, what is it, 5 recipes? Are we doing 5?
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And so, yeah, I'm just looking forward to that. That's going to be fun.
I love that you cook with me because you have children and that don't necessarily eat this way, and then I know if they like it, it's a good recipe.
Right. I know. That's what's so awesome about it. When we did the cook along for Thanksgiving, I know it was past our Canadian Thanksgiving already, but boy, was my family happy that I'd done a cook along with you that day. We really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm telling people, join today and cook tomorrow. I see
Yeah.
Jesse's watching. Hey, Jesse, how are you? Haven't seen her in a while, but it's going to be fun because it's not going to just be me cooking and you watching and maybe typing in the chat. Although people can turn their camera off if they want, but we hope you won't, because we find, at least I have found since the pandemic, since teaching a different type of cooking classes, that people get more out of it by actually cooking than just watching. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And it's kind of fun to be able to, you're the professional chef. So it's kind of fun to be able to, when you run into a little bit of a roadblock with a recipe, to be able to say, hey, AJ, does this look right? What am I doing wrong? And you say, oh no, put that back on the food processor for another minute or so. And it's great. I've really enjoyed that.
It's also fun when I make mistakes live too.
That happens too.
Nice comment from David. AJ, if you did not make your current challenge public, I swear no one would know. You look radiant and glowing as ever. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, David, on the days that I don't look like this, I generally don't go live. I thought about it like when I was at the lowest low, where I was like, this is too hard. I'm giving up. I thought maybe I should go live right now or make a video, but I don't want to bum people out, because everybody has good days and bad days in life. And, I want to show you something, because I missed you so much at Rancho. It was a wonderful time though, having Lissa. I say we adopted a cat because I was an integral part of this adoption, because even though she wanted Lissa to be her mother, I was the one that invited the cat into my room to sleep. And after that, the cat never left. It's a wonderful story. Instagram or watch the last video. But I took us one of the sound healing classes, which is my favorite class at Rancho. And we still have openings for July 19th through 16th with Dr. Goldhammer. This may be our last group for lots of different reasons. I'll still go, but the group thing is a little bit more bells and whistles than just me going like I've been in the past. And so there was a bowl where we could pick something out. It said mindfulness. And so I picked this and I read it. I go, huh. And I thought, well, everybody probably got the same one, but they didn't. But listen to the one I got. And this is going to be my mantra from now on. Surrender to what is, let go of what was, have faith in what will be. I mean,
Oh, I love that.
I almost want to get this tattooed, because this is a surrender to what is, let go of what was, have faith in what will be. I mean, that says it all. And this is, I get a quote by Sonia Riccati. So I have that on my desk. And, I keep some, I wish you could see my desk, but, and then like here, I have this little bracelet. It's not a little bracelet. It's a big bracelet. Imagine no lung cancer. But people have been overall kind. Guys, if you want to communicate with me, please, if you know me, text me. Don't email me. I don't know if I'll ever be able to check email again. I'm getting to the point because, being sick I don't even like to say being sick, but for pretty much I've been in bed for the last 2 weeks on a heating pad. And the last thing you want to do, especially if you're dying, is check email. Any moments I have, I want to spend with Charles and Bailey. And also I'm not on social media. I do make posts, but somebody else checks that because I'm sensitive to sometimes comments that aren't kind. And but but that one of them was kind of interesting because they told me about it, and so somebody said, "See, I told you Keytruda was poison." So when people make stuff like that, we just what's the word? Block them, delete them, remove them. But the thing is so as my Jewish mother said, better you should die of cancer. I have to laugh. So that if you guys like to laugh, come to Vegas. You're going to be in Vegas, right,
I
Suzanne?
am. Oh, I can't wait for Vegas. And I saw was it last week that you announced that Dr. Joel Furman's coming too? Was a new. Was that last week that you announced that?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Kathleen, I will not share my text message here, but you should have it, Kathleen, because you went to Rancho, and so if you know my email, obviously I'm not going to put my phone number on this because I'm already getting too many texts. But somebody that knows me is please more than welcome to text me because I don't know if I'll ever be able to respond to email. Or the worst is when they send messages through social media, not even posts because there's nobody to check them. I'm sorry. Join the membership group, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can see every single week for several hours and like this, but I'll be able to see you. We can have a conversation. It'll
You know
be
what? It kind of reminds me of being in your courses, AJ. When I was new and I was in your courses, I couldn't believe the access we had. We could put up our hand and ask you a question. I felt like when I had my camera on, I felt known, in that community of the courses. And I feel like that's what you're taking that over into the new community. I'm really
right.
excited
But it's
about
not going to be, see, part of the problem with my last community is it's too much pressure for me to have to do this every single week. I'll be there every week, but I'm going to have friends do something every week. Some weeks there's
that.
5 weeks, some weeks that's 4, and some of the guests will change. And so one of the things that might be, see, we're going to start out and see what the members like, and if they like it, we'll keep doing it. So one of the things that we think people are going to like based on just YouTube is Dr. Matt Letterman, and he does what's called connection medicine. So he'll be able to interact with people instead of just talking like he does on YouTube. He does some amazing work with this nonviolent communication. And then we have Mark Idetta, the guy that does the healing from the inside out. But we're going to have Susanna. She's going to do all the weight loss stuff because we know there's still a lot of people that need to lose weight and want to lose weight. I'm just not your guy anymore or your gal because I'm in the other boat. I need to gain weight, and it's very hard to gain weight when you're told you can't eat any nuts, seeds, avocado, or oil, no fat to heal my pancreas. So that's why I wish Dr. McDougall was alive for many reasons, but I really wish he was alive to tell him, oh my God, you're right. Because when you don't eat fat, you cannot gain, it is impossible, because I was eating nuts and seeds and avocado and, to try to at least to maintain my weight. Now that that's off the table, it's like, I cannot eat enough, even bread and things like that. So
Wow.
let's see, who else have we got scheduled? We've got Dr. Goldhammer scheduled. And what's nice is because, on YouTube, people have to, especially doctors, have to kind of give like very general answers. But when it's in a private place like this, they can see you and that's the other thing. See, when we do things on YouTube, you can ask a question to the doctor and very often they have follow-ups, but it's going to be better this way. So I'm very excited about it. And yeah, well, I'm not going to put my phone number on for people that I don't know, with all due respect. But people that like already know me, like Kathleen, that we've spent weeks together in Mexico, and she was my assistant in Washington. I thought she already had my number, but I can you imagine? Because I remember when I put my email in my first book. Oh man, I didn't realize people read my book. So, I got to have a little bit of time to myself and not checking, but just join the group and we can interact every single week. I promise you're going to like that type of interaction. Let's talk about the recipes we're going to make tomorrow because they're new ones. And oh, some of them on the horizon. So one of the things I'll tell you my little story. When I first was diagnosed, poor me, I'm gonna eat anything I want now. The vegan diet didn't, protect me. But the funny thing was, is after eating so healthfully for so long, I couldn't really think of really anything that I wanted because most of the things that I want, I can figure out how to make.
Mm.
There was one thing that I used to enjoy, and that was black licorice. And so I'm like, well, what does it matter now? And I looked and searched because I can't have gluten, and of course, I would prefer to not have sugar. But the only sugar, I didn't want fake sugar, and the only true sugar-free licorice I could find, the reviews on Amazon was like, it tastes terrible. So I bought the healthiest brand I could find. I can't remember what brand it was. I went to the health food store and I had this bag, it was like 550 calories. And of course, it had sugar and it kind of tasted good and the texture was kind of good. But I felt so sick after eating it, And I'm like, I'm not going to do that again. And so I figured out how to make black licorice completely SOS free, Goldhammer compliant. It's amazing. That recipe, I put it in a book that Lisa and I wrote together for her next bundle, the raw food bundle. But we'll be doing those kind of recipes in the community, teaching you how to make sugar-free, gluten-free black licorice. So I'm pretty excited about that because,
That's amazing.
yeah, and it's not a trigger, but because black licorice is not very sweet. I can't imagine many people like it's potent, it has that true black licorice flavor. So it's not like I sit there and just if you enjoy it, you're going to really love this recipe. Growing up, I didn't really care for the Twizzlers or the red vines, but so now that's all I really need to have is so. But tomorrow we're not making that. We're making a new recipe that I call Goji Goodies, which you can use either carob powder or cocoa powder. I don't do chocolate, but people that do can do that. And then there's going to be a peppermint option. I'm obsessed with peppermint these days. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to do, an Asian noodle salad. So, and again, if you don't ever want to use noodles, you don't have to. You can always spiralize zucchini or cucumber or daikon radish or carrot or parsnip, or you could use kelp noodles. Lately I've been using, do you have Costco by you,
Yep.
Susanna?
Yep.
Have you ever had those millet brown rice noodles?
Oh, I love them.
I
Yeah,
love them
they're
too.
great.
So
They're great.
that's what they cook in like I think like 7 minutes. They're so easy and they're I find like they don't stick together like
Yep.
regular pasta. And so we'll be using those and we're going to be making my version of the peanut noodles without peanuts, of course, chin chin. Because even though because it's so funny, I need to eat low fat now for this pancreas, so the recipes are going to be low fat. But hey, you can always add fat. You can always make things as sweet, salty, spicy, and oily as you want. So we're just going to keep it the same way. I won't be using sugar, oil, or salt. And let's see. Oh, we're making a mango rita. Lisa loves that recipe. So we had a restaurant here called Zest that had this drink called the Cactus Cooler that I loved, but they made it with agave or maple syrup, date on request. And I'm like, I got to learn to make this without sugar. So we'll be having a good time and we'll be eating lunch. We're going to be doing a lot of lunch things. We're going to be playing plant-based Jeopardy and things like that. So if you guys have any questions about anything, I'm pretty much an open book. You can ask about my my treatment. Duh. The headline of this thing was What Lies Next. Okay, so here's where we are with that. So I talked to him. Today I went to UC Davis. It's a closer medical center than Stanford, not because I'm unhappy with Stanford. It's just a really long drive. And my oncologist thought if it ever got to the point where, it's a 3-hour drive with no traffic, with traffic, it's been up to 5.5. He had a colleague that he worked with at Stanford, very nice. I was hoping that she wouldn't be nice. I was hoping that I would not like UC Davis because now I'm faced with a choice. And so I'm going to have a session with Dr. Lyle soon. Everybody was super nice at UC Davis, everybody from the valet to the nurse to, of course, the oncologist. And so it's a tough decision to make. But here's the thing that you can't transfer cancer care that quickly. So my next infusion, barring any elevated weird numbers, will be Tuesday. I go in on a Monday because it's too hard to get it done the same day. And the American Cancer Society gives us a free room, which is so nice if you're watching. Thank you. Limited number, but still thank you. And then I get my infusions at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're scheduled for 2 hours, but Keytruda goes pretty quickly, about 30 minutes. I've asked for less Keytruda because I'm small. And this is what I don't understand, how they give the same amount of medicine to everybody. They don't do that with chemotherapy or really any other drugs. But this is the way it is. So I'm going to get the full dose again. And if all goes well, we keep going. If I get pancreatitis again the next day, then we got a problem because then I got to figure out, well, what am I going to do? And my choices are to keep doing it and just stay sick the whole time. But I don't think they will keep doing it after that, because you don't want to have, acute pancreatitis turn into chronic pancreatitis. And my choices are to do what I did for the first 2 years, which is to do nothing and then just watch it grow. Or there's, chemo, which I really don't want, because if I'm this sick from immunotherapy, I can't imagine chemo being much better. There's radiation and there's surgery. So of those three options, radiation sounds the best, I guess, but I don't like any of them. So, or what they call spontaneous recovery. So I'm going to have this miraculous healing, and that's what I'm going for. Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do? How do you stay so positive? You have a lot going on in your life with your family, but you always maintain a positive attitude.
Not every moment of every day. Yeah, you would have caught me in a bad moment last night. My dad is not doing well, so there's a lot of family stress with my family of origin, and kind of dealing with that, and it's moments like those where you turn to, when obesity's been your problem all your life and food addiction, then that's sort of your go-to. And last night I turned to a piece of homemade whole wheat bread. I ground the flour myself, but it was bread, and I don't eat bread anymore, and peanut butter on top. And that's just go-to.
Oh my God, you're gonna get 20 lashes with kale when I see you. Well, we text like every second. Why didn't you text me? I would have talked you off the ledge.
I know. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that, going through something like that, because then what I did is I went out on my bike and I started to feel better. But, sometimes I feel like moments like that are no longer going to send me down a, month long binge or anything like that. But boy, I tell you, it helps me relate to some of the stuff that my clients are going through, that my coaching clients that I'm 3 or 4 years out from now. And so, yeah, I had a moment there last night.
I think that's what makes you such a good coach, because you're human and relatable. Because when I tried to do this, I was more Goldhammer, and it was like, I couldn't relate to that, because I didn't do it, because I'm different that way. And I think that you're a much better coach. Oh, Bit wants me to do 20 lashes with a glass noodle. But see, and I think that's why people like you, because you're real and you're honest.
Well, I am who I am. I can't be somebody that I'm not. And I feel like, sharing my own struggles. I mean, that's one thing that I enjoy about coaching it so much too, is that it keeps everything present in my mind. And, because I'm a food addict, and I always will be, and I'm in recovery, and, yeah, I just, that's what I'm so excited about, having a role in the community to help, scoop up others that are struggling with weight loss, and kind of, yeah, supporting and encouraging people in that space. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's amazing, because you didn't need, or were really not looking for a career. Did you apply for the spotlight for Food Revolution?
No.
I told you to.
I know you did.
Shy. I'm like, she's like not even seeking the spotlight. And I'm like, here, look, I need a retired girl. I'm just pushing her out there. And she's like the reluctant, what's the word I'm thinking of? Girl of the hour, woman of the hour. America's sweetheart is what you are.
I'm Canadian.
Oh, sorry. Well, you're Canada's sweetheart then. So that's funny. So people are posting different things that I should take or try for the cancer. I haven't tried mistletoe. I looked into it. I didn't want to give myself injections. I can't even prick my finger for a blood test. And yes, I did take ivermectin and mebendazole for months, and I would go back to it. But right now, with this a pancreas flare, I can't really take any medicine except for they don't want me to stop my thyroid, and there's one tummy medicine they're putting me on, which I'm not happy with. So yeah, I was on those, and I will go on those. And yes, I am doing the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's not like these things have immediate results. As a matter of fact, he has a worldwide live today at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and I'm signed up for that. And we do his meditation every day. So you can't, it's Passover. You can't eat it or you can't cook it. Because there's always an option in my recipes that are kosher for Passover. The vegetable, for example, you could use instead of the noodle. Yeah. Okay, let's see what other things. What type of cancer do you have? It's called non-small cell lung cancer, stage 3A, with one metastases to the bronchial lymph node. Jim says, my positivity shines. Thank you. I get sad sometimes, Susanna, because I'm in these support groups, which are wonderful, but the longer you hang around people with cancer, the more likely some of them are going to die. And it's really hard because even like in one of my groups that's virtual on Monday, I was just being like, I was in so much pain and I was just complaining so much. And then the person that goes next, they're worse, so you just got to be grateful for what you have, because there's always somebody that as much as you're suffering, guys, if you are, not saying you are, there's always somebody that's worse off and suffering more. Not that that's necessarily going to make you feel better in the moment, but
But
yeah.
also, AJ, looking for the blessings in your life, and that's something that has helped me through difficult moments with my family, with my kids, and everything else. Is looking to the Lord, and if that is your faith, and kind of being grateful for what I have and what beautiful things he's brought to my life, you included. I mean, like you said, this was I was just trying to not be fat anymore. and
Oh,
and
that's funny.
so
Yeah, Latif, are you new to, I know you're not new to my show, but I've been talking about this for like 6 months, so there's lots of videos. I had no symptoms. My first symptom is the pancreatitis, yeah. So, the thing is not to be cavalier, you just basically did what we told you to do, and that's why it worked. And I just did what Goldhammer told me to do, and it worked. But I know that it's really hard for people to do this. I get it, I get that it's really hard for most people to do it. That's why people are struggling so much.
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. The thing that I do try to have an attitude of gratitude every day, even when I'm in pain, praying silently or meditating. And the thing is when I can't eat, it's so hard because I get so hungry, and or when I eat and it hurts, it's just like there's lots of different symptoms you can get, but that's just not one that I want, and it's taken a long time to go away. So
Well, I'm glad when you do let us know that you're having struggles, because then we can pray for you. There's lots of people that want to pray for you, and so I'm thankful when you post things that let us know. There's lots of prayer warriors out there that want to keep praying for you.
I appreciate that. It's so funny because I was even when I was sick, I still went to my job at the Stanford Inn. I didn't get to eat my 30th anniversary dinner. That's to be determined when. I ate white rice. That was pretty much all I could tolerate. But I still did my job, and I don't think anybody knew I was not feeling well except for the owners. I told them what happened because I spent a lot of time in bed except for when I was scheduled to appear. We did a plant-based Jeopardy game with Dr. Goldhammer and his wife. It was so much fun, so much fun. We're gonna be doing that in the community. Actually, the same set of clues. It's really fun. It's played just like Jeopardy. So we're also going to do fun and games in the Chef AJ and Friends community to the degree that people want it. I don't know if everybody loves games or comedy as much as I do, but we're going to expose you to a bunch of different things, and then you're going to decide what you like regularly. But there's always going to be cooking. There's always going to be doctors, because that's what people seem to like. People are saying, have you considered this? Have you considered that? Please watch some of my previous videos. There's very few things that I haven't considered for treatment, including all kinds of alternative treatments in Mexico, but I have a plan now, and I believe that I need to focus, which is an acronym for follow one course until successful. So unless this next Keytruda treatment puts me in another state of pancreatitis. I feel like if you do too many things at once, you don't know what's working. So this is what I'm doing. It took 2 years to make that decision, so I'm not going to waver from that at this moment, but I'm open to other possibilities in the future. Yep. Always davening. Davening is the Jewish word for praying. That's so cute. Always davening for Chef AJ. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I was going to be really sad today, like when I was talking about this, but I'm not because I'm here with you. I think if I did this myself, it would have been different, but it's hard
Happy
to
to be here.
it's hard to talk. I mean, I don't know how these people do it on YouTube or whatever, or Instagram when they're talking to nobody. It's very hard. That's why I want the community to be all for people that want, to be on Zoom so people can watch it. Oh, so here's the exciting news. If you missed my show with Dr. Furman last week, so the good news, bad news, so they say. So I was asked to host a conference in Las Vegas because the last conference on July 7th, where Susanna attended all the way from Canada, I announced my retirement from producing, and I was asked to host in Vegas, where I've hosted 3 conferences before. And Dr. John Scharfenberg, who will be 102, unfortunately had to cancel. He's moved away. And but I think you're going to really like our replacement as keynote speaker. It's Dr. Joel Furman, and he's not just a wonderful lecturer, of course, but he's extremely funny. And so we haven't updated the website yet, but you may want to come to that because that's something that I'm very excited about because it's, oh, Vegas, Susanna, if you get in early, they have a sushi restaurant called Daikon. It's an all vegan sushi restaurant. It's really good.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
really, really good. Yep. Yep, I'm looking on Instagram. See, when Susanna's live with me, she can't look at my comments though. So I'm just step no, don't see any questions on Instagram. You look great. Thank you. That's about it over on Instagram. Let's check over on the other platform. We actually tried to do this at 1 o'clock, but there was a Zoom outage today. Do you know what forbidden rice is? Yes, it's wonderful, and I've made it. And I make it exactly like any rice. I just use a rice cooker, and then it's 1 cup to the little line. But I've had the purple, the black, and the red, and I love it. Actually, it's called for in one of my recipes in one of my books, the beanless black bean burger. We use the black forbidden rice so that it looks like a black bean burger without beans. Yeah, M Evans, glad you can read the chat. We love you, Chef AJ. I do. I just don't always look at it. Keep your eyes on loving Creator. He never fails us. And I haven't gone to any kind. I've been going to houses of worship. I say that because sometimes they're churches and sometimes they're other things. And I meant to go. I got to go Sunday. No excuses. Because I get lazy because you can watch online now, but it's not the same. You get a different feeling when you go in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ron says, my sister is doing Keytruda and it's definitely making a difference. Can I ask what kind of cancer she has? Yep. I just hope this was just like a one-time thing because I don't know how anybody continues to get like the treatments like chemo and be sick. From what I'm hearing from people is you get it, they get really sick, and just as they're starting to feel better, it's time for another treatment. So what they can do is if it is the Keytruda for sure, of course they can stop it. That's one option, or they can make the treatments instead of every 3 weeks, 4 or longer. But I just don't like things to be hard. And it's just, I can't help thinking it's just not fair at this stage of my life. Like I know that like suffering is not optional often in life, but I just didn't want it. I mean, I wish it could have been like a long time ago when I was just younger and stronger. Like I was hoping that this would be like an easier time in my life and I could retire. Oh, rectal cancer. Wow, I'm so sorry. And that's fantastic. Hey, Karen. I wonder if Karen, I'm not trying to put people on the spot, but I wonder if people like Karen and Jesse are in the community because it'd be great to see them. So I don't know because I don't look at I never know who's coming until they show up. Same thing with Vegas. So yeah, I don't have much else to say. I thought I was going to have this big, profound, I've done a few podcasts and so I've shared, you guys have probably heard this all by now, my 7 foundations for thriving in the face of cancer. And it's been hard because when I don't feel good, I don't have a lot of fun, but I never miss improv. It doesn't matter how sick I am. I could be hooked up to a ventilator. I'm not going to miss my improv class. I can tell you that. But haven't had much food. Oh my gosh, Lissa. and I can't eat it yet. She made me the wraps. She made me the wraps. She brought them to Mexico and I have them and just haven't been able to eat it. What's going on in Vegas? Yeah, where have you been? Loving living. I'm not having, I'm hosting the wonderful plant-powered party. I'll put the link in the chat with Will Bolshewitz and Christy Funk and Chris Wark and Brenda Davis and Tammy Kramer and Lissa Maris, Raw Food Romance, and who else is going to be there? Dr. Alan Goldhammer, Dr. Doug Lyle, John Pierre. I just put a link in the chat. And tickets, the ticket price is adorable for Vegas, 777, lucky seven. And that's 3 days, 2 nights, 6 wonderful gourmet meals, guaranteed oil free. And please join us. It should be fun. Lisa, if you haven't gotten the grocery list, Susanna, we sent out the grocery list for the cook along, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think there was somebody in the forum today that I answered just shortly before we came on here. I'm not sure if people know that they need to click on the events tab and register within there.
I don't know that, but Lisa, and anybody that has any questions or wants to reach me fairly quickly, help@chefaj.com. We want to get those for you as soon as possible. So the shopping list isn't that horribly extensive. It's because I was able to get everything at pretty much at my local Raley's. So I was able to do that. So Karen has a free room in Vegas, but airfare is so expensive right now. So Karen, couple of suggestions about that. I don't know what airline you normally fly, but a lot of the airlines have this thing where they kind of know when you're looking for a fare and you can be on watch where they email you if the fare goes down and or, believe it or not, there's still old-fashioned travel agents that seem to have like little tricks in helping you. My understanding that was Vegas is one of the cheapest places in the world to fly into for every city because Vegas really wants your money for gambling, even though the vegan people at the conferences tend not to be big gamblers. So I hope the airfare isn't the deal breaker. Can you drive? Maybe you and Colleen can drive together. Maybe she can pick you up from Connecticut, but she's going and I'm pretty sure she's flying. Yeah, I would definitely wait, wait and see if airfares change because I haven't bought my ticket either. What age did you first get into comedy or improv? I mean, I didn't start performing comedy, believe it or not. Stand up, didn't start till I was 40. I did at the improv in the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. In improv, I started when I was 25, but I never really performed it. I just stayed in class because I was kind of too afraid to go up to the next level. But I was on the Tonight Show in 1974, October 11th, 1974, with guest host Joey Bishop. I was only 14. Then I was on The Gong Show when I was 16, and on Johnny Carson when I was 27, and on David Letterman when I don't remember now, but I've been on a lot of stuff. But most of it you can't find on the internet except for my appearance on Johnny Carson and some of my stand-up. Oh, wow. Oh, Lisa, if you registered 15 minutes ago, that's probably why you don't have it yet. Okay, that makes a difference. Yeah. So yeah, if you have any questions for Susanna, if you have any questions on weight loss or food addiction, I mean, she can answer them. She's happy to talk to you. And she also does privates, and she'll also be doing, we're going to call it Weight Loss Wednesday, which was the name of my 300 episode, one of my first little shows, so to speak, on YouTube, or it was on Facebook when I started going live. Uh-oh, Mitzi Shore. Oh, yes, I remember her. Wasn't she? She was Pauly Shore's mother, and she was either the owner or the booker of the Comedy Store. Yeah, Karen, that's a great suggestion somebody has in the chat. Are there cheaper cities to fly in and then go to Vegas? That's a really wonderful suggestion. Gambling is why I have the free room. Oh my gosh, girl, you're hilarious. I forget what city you're from, Karen, and there's always a cheaper way. I just don't know how to find it for you. But the reason I know that is because, speaking at these conferences, they always use travel agents. And believe me, they are looking to find the best fare. And they always seem to find things that I don't seem to find when I'm just looking on my own. But I do find that if you have Southwest, it's pretty cheap in general. Or there's other airlines. What are they called? Like the what's the one that's like really known for being cheap? Is it Frontier or something like that? Yeah. Anyway, so join my community so we can interact because I feel like I don't have that much to really offer on YouTube anymore, just in general. I will have my weekly show still, which is the first Tuesday of the month, Dr. Doug Lisle, but that doesn't mean he won't be in the private community. It's funny because I called him up and I said, so, if you come in the private community, like, could you do something where you dive really deep? He goes, I answer one question an hour. How much deeper do you want me to dive? I thought that was hilarious, but he might pop in there, but he's going to stay on YouTube and answer all the questions. And then we have the second Wednesday of the month, Dr. Ellen Goldhammer. This is just on YouTube or Instagram if you're watching there, where we multi-stream. Third Friday of the month, coming up this Friday, is Dr. Ron Weiss, where he answers your questions. And then fourth Monday is Dr. Brooke Goldner. So we'll still keep those 4 shows. And every now and then, when I find an inspiring story of somebody with cancer, I would like to feature them. Or if somebody has a new book. So Dr. Greger has a new cookbook, the How Not to Age Cookbook. He'll be on the show next Thursday. But otherwise, I'm kind of keeping it pretty low key here so that I can concentrate on my community and also, most importantly, my healing and my family and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm excited about tomorrow though, but I do have to buy a couple of ingredients. Anyway, got anything, guys, that you want to ask? Otherwise, I'm going to go shopping. Southwest was cheap until this year. How did me and Susanna first meet? So, well, we met because I had a membership community called Feel Fabulous Over 40 that I haven't been involved with for about 3 years. And she was a participant and she had a wonderful success story, losing 90 pounds. And I don't know if you have your photo handy to show people, if you keep it like on your phone or just one of those things. But it was quite a transformation. And she just was one of those diligent people that, signed up for every summit. She basically found us or found me through the Truth About Weight Loss Summit. And like, as they say, the rest was history. And
Yep.
she just ran with it. And we met first in person. Wait, you got to talk.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to show up
No,
anyway.
it was showing up, but you got to
Was it?
talk. Yeah, just
Oh,
talk when you hold it up.
okay. This one. This is me, 91 pounds heavier. I was a big girl.
And that's incredible. When did we actually first meet though? Was it, which conference was it at Rand? I don't remember, but
It was the January 20, maybe 2023, early 2023.
oh, Marlena's watching and she has a boo-boo and we're really sorry. And she's saying that Spirit and Frontier are generally very reasonable. Yeah. So one of the things I do like about Southwest so much though is that especially if you buy the second level, like you're never penalized. Like you can change it, you can have your money back. And I love that freedom of doing that. Most airlines have some kind of penalty or charge you more to change it and don't give you your money back. So that's kind of what I love about Southwest. And next year they're going to be doing assigned seating. And I kind of like the open seating. So I wonder if Marlene is going to come to Vegas. She just came to Rancho, which was super fun, super fun.
I have a picture where I don't have black on, where I think it's probably easier to see. Yep. That's 8 kids and a lot of postpartum weight carried there for a lot of years.
Oh my gosh. That's an incredible transformation. Hey, I'm going to ask you this question because you're the health coach now, not me. Tisha says, I have so many people lately trying to get me to eat meat, and I'm sick of it. I feel so good on my plans. How do I handle this? That's a Lyle question, but let's say she was your client. What would you tell her?
Well, I tell you, I actually was dealing with this just earlier this week. Somebody asked a similar question, and I always go back to what Dr. Lisle has taught us is that we don't want to take away their status, right? To be putting down their choice and just kind of to try and finesse out of the conversation, like, well, it's working for me right now. I feel really good. My doctor's good with it. I'm going to give this a try, see how I do. that's sort of the type of thing that I do when I've got somebody kind of breathing down my neck. Oh, you should eat this meat or whatever it is. Well, I'm trying something new. I'm feeling really good, and just kind of try to leave it at that.
Or maybe there's a book you could read called The Pleasure Trap. And if you don't want to read the whole thing, read chapter 4, I believe it is, called Getting Along Without Going Along.
Yeah.
I would ask you, Tisha, yep, that's the book.
This is the book. Yeah. Great book.
Why are they trying to get you to eat meat? That's what I would want to know. It's like people that if you don't drink, people are always trying to get you to drink too. I think they feel, I'm not sure why they feel. How is Bailey? She is holding her own. I mean, it's incredible because she had two, I'm going to call them mini strokes, but I'm not a vet and you can't really diagnose it unless we, get her the MRI. But she's holding her own. She still has life force and she still is enjoying. Her favorite thing is to sit on the grass. So I try to spend at least 2 hours a day outside. Now that the weather's getting warmer, even though it's still too cold for me, she just loves to sit on the grass, and sometimes I'm thinking, is she still alive? Because she just kind of like lays there, like I'm so glad my husband convinced me to get this little circle because I kind of like the deserty look because it's cheaper too, with a bunch of stones and whatever that stuff is. But she just loves to lay on the grass. That's like her thing. Yeah. But I feel, who I feel bad for? He never watches my show, so I can say this is my husband, Charles, because I really do feel like I've become a burden to him. And I'm not even at the point where like Dr. Goldhammer says, you've got to wipe my butt, not like that kind of burden. But he does have to drive me to my appointments because I have a lot of anxiety in cars, especially if it's more than, 15 minutes and if it's on the freeway. And that takes up a lot of time that he could be doing things that are more fun or that would serve him better, like exercising or, doing what he wants to do. And then also I'm not saying I'm deteriorating, but he's seeing me and Bailey not feel our best. And I know that's got to be hard for him. And he doesn't go to any like kind of caregiver support groups, even though they're available, But I do joke like whenever I feel like I'm a burden, I'm going to listen. I'll be gone soon. You can marry Kathy Fisher, and then I really did. I called her when I was diagnosed. I said, "Listen, there's a chance I might not make it. Will you take care of Charles? Because he adores her and he loves her food, and they share cookies together. They're kind of like two little introverted peas in a pod. But I don't really care what happens when I'm gone. I mean, I care, but I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like. So, and not that I'm going anywhere. Here's a great response from Francine. She says, you do you and I'll do me,
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I'll see if Tisha commented because I'd like to know why she's eating plants in the first place. Because if she's doing it for her health, people might be encouraging her to eat meat because they think it's healthier. That's why if you like, I became an ethical vegan before I became a healthy vegan. So nobody ever tried to get me to eat meat because it went against my ethics and it would violate my ethics, kind of like, asking telling a person that's kosher to eat bacon, they're not going to do it no matter what, if you offer them money, for example. So it'd be interesting to know why you became vegan if you can, or plant-based, if you want to type it in the chat. And I'd be curious to know why they're trying to get you. See, and this is a perfect example of why we're having a community, because she may not be here right now. She may not, if somebody asks a question in the community, once we do our weekly lives, I'll be seeing them. We can follow up. We can get more information. And that's why I feel like this is very just kind of superficial, if you will. So, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do it at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and that we'll have the cook. And by the way, everything's recorded, and even though it's called a cook along, you don't have to cook along. You can just watch or participate without actually cooking. It's just that what I've learned is that one of the reasons I think culinary school was such a great experience as opposed to taking an online course is because you're actually doing it at the same time as it's for me, I learn better that way. Our first Zoom cooking class is tomorrow, and I just put the link, and we'll do those once a month. Village of Ohm, that's where I was taken for my birthday. Yes, and it was very good. It's an Andy Wynn restaurant. He had another one in Sacramento that I think is now closed called Andy Wynn's, and he's the owner, but he was like coming out with water and things like that. Yes, it was very beautifully presented and very good. They do use quite a bit of oil, so it was kind of hard. We were limited on what we could get without oil, but I would highly recommend the beauty and the artistry of that restaurant. Yep, very nice. And if you live locally, we have Makuni's here, so I'm taking the sushi making class, even though I've already taken it because it was very it was very hard. Have you ever made sushi, Susanna?
I do. I make it about once a week. Yeah, I love it.
I love it too. Yeah. Somebody told me about and I've got to try to work this out. In Orange County, they make hot sushi. I've never had it. I just didn't have time to go. But they make like a bundt cake out of sushi. It's like this
Oh,
heated, sliceable thing. So I'm going to try to
wow.
figure out how to do that as one of our lives. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I have been learning to cook without oil. Nice. Mushrooms you can actually bake, by the way. That's how they serve them at the True North Salad Bar. And I generally don't like mushrooms, but I like the way they serve them at True North, you know?
Oh, I love those mushrooms.
Yeah, I always forget how to do it, but I think they just like throw them in at like 350 or something.
Yeah, actually, during one cooking class, I asked Chef Bravo how do you make these mushrooms? And it's cremini mushrooms, the brown mushrooms, and you just slice them and put them randomly on a pan and 350 convection for 20 to 25 minutes.
They are so good
And I
that
just store them in the fridge, eat them hot, store them in the fridge. Delicious.
yeah, and I'm not a mushroom lover, but I do love the True North mushrooms. Claudia is saying, how do you join the community? You click the link below that I just put in the chat, Chef AJ and Friends. Okay. Jeannie says, my primary care doc asked me if I became a vegan for ethical or health reasons. I told him for health. He then suggested chicken or fish twice a week. So tell him next time, say, no, actually, it's for, or just say for both. How about saying for both? So
Mhm.
Tisha did follow up by saying, I feel really great. My dad died of a heart attack and my mom is sick. Sorry to hear that. My daughter was sick as a child and it healed us all. We all have mild, mild in my family. What does that mean? We all have mild. Is that an acronym for a condition? And health coaches trying to get us to eat meat. I don't know what mild. Anybody know what that means? We all have mild in our family. Hmm,
Don't do that one.
that's weird to me though. Are these people that are trying to get you to change your diet? Are they like super fit and super healthy? Or I'm curious. But join the community. We can explore that further with one of the doctors. Yeah. Well, I love parchment paper on a cooking sheet and on top too, says Doran. For the mushrooms, do you use parchment paper when you bake them?
No, no, I just put them on the pan and they release their juices um, and don't stick. So
Yes.
yeah, I just do them in my Breville air fryer.
I just this is so I mean it's sad but very nice. So a local lady in the community in our plant-based community died and I got her
Mm.
Breville. So I have two Brevils now.
Oh wow.
And I know most people don't even have one. And I was thinking of gifting it, but one day it's gonna not work because my mini air fryer after about 8 years, the Go Wise it now doesn't work. So I replaced that with the Ninja. But yeah, there's not a lot of room in a house for two
Yes.
Breville's, but the Breville, ever since getting the Breville, I don't use my oven anymore, except maybe on Thanksgiving when I'm cooking for a lot of people. It's just so much easier to use the Breville. It turns itself off. It preheats more quickly. It doesn't heat up the house. I gotta say, I've never had a affiliate deal with them or even, a discount, but I just think they're fabulous.
I was a slow adopter. I remember when I got mine, you said to me, finally. But I was a slow adopter of that because it was a big expense and I already had one cuisine art one that when it stopped working, then I took the plunge and I'm telling you, I love that thing. And even my older teens and young adults who don't eat this way use it for their own food too. And it just heats up so fast and it holds a 9 by 13 pan. And so I use it way more than my oven now too. It's great.
Yeah, and you can even make toast in it. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
It really reminds me of like the Vitamita Vegemin episode. It slices, it dices, or maybe that was a different episode. Yes, that was she bought some machine that what is a Breville? It is a company that makes wonderful appliances like the Breville sous chef. You have that too, right? My favorite food
Yes,
processor.
yes,
Yep.
yes.
But we're
I was
talking Shar about an air fryer. I think it's called what is the technical
let
name?
me think. Rebel.
Go Smart Air.
So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about this big. It's bigger than a toaster, but I'd say smaller than a dehydrator. And it's an air fryer, an oven, it roasts it proofs yeast, it's a dehydrator, it's a toaster. It's amazing. Karen says my Breville is everything. Absolutely. And I know there's probably other people like the Ninja, and they're all good, but I don't think anything is as big as the Breville. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
yep, nice. Yeah, Jesse, you don't use your Breville? That's She says I'll get around to using mine. If for just a couple of people, maybe you might not need it, but we do a lot of batch cooking stuff here. Maggie says my two most used appliances are my oven, air fryer, and my Instant Pot. Yep, I would agree. Instant Pot, air fryer, and then well for me, I use my you have a dehydrator now, right?
I
What
do.
kind do you have?
The big, what's it?
Did I get it for you?
Yeah, the black one.
That's a good one. Did I get
Yeah.
you the 9 tray?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
generous. I can't
Yeah,
believe
you are.
okay, that's a good
I
dehydrator
love it.
because
I love it.
you can make Lissa's wraps in them.
It starts with an E. Excalibur.
Excalibur, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the hotel in Vegas. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Well, thank goodness for laundry rooms because that's where I can put
That's where mine is too.
yeah. And but I love the dehydrator because the whole house smells good. Because my big thing now is they call it crack. I make granola. Like every doctor's appointment, everywhere I go, I give somebody a jar of this gingerbread granola. If the recipe's not out yet on my website, I know I shot a video, so that should be out soon. And it's based on Drina Burton's gingerbread granola. So if it's not out yet, her recipe is perfect. I just made it a little bit simpler with just with dates, instead of using, syrups and things like that. So. Let's see. Um, Shar, I don't know how big the Ninja air fryer is because it depends which one because the crispy definitely won't replace it because it's this big. So if it's this big, does the Ninja air fryer have a dehydrated setting? Hey, Judy, I think Judy's coming to Vegas. She loves her Breville. I I think everybody loves their Breville. I wish I could know Breville. I don't have a dehydrator. I'll have to graduate. Well, you can often get a dehydrator very inexpensively on Facebook Marketplace, places like eBay, because a lot of people buy these appliances with intentions of doing something or juicers, and they don't often do it. So you can often find there.
I
Uh,
also see instant pots at the thrift store all the time. People
yeah.
get them and they're afraid to use them.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was a little daunted by the Instant Pot, and I had a friend when I lived in LA named Dana who was an attorney, and she wasn't a chef or anything, and she had two of them, and she showed me, and I'm like, this is so easy. You literally throw everything in and push a button.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the 8 quart. If I ever need to replace my Instant Pot, I'll get the 10 quart. But because I'm starting to refeed and it's basically a pureed diet, I'm making the Bravo soup with, it's
Mm.
basically just zucchini, Yukon Golds and water. And so I can do 6 or 8 pounds in one pot. That way I don't have to keep making it. So that's really easy. Jill says, I'm going to Vegas this August too. Yay.
Right.
Well, tell Karen to go with you. Karen, you gotta go. It's weird with Zoom. I already felt like I knew you before I met you, and I kind of feel the same way about Karen because we've been in comedy class together. So I hope Karen ends up going. That would be really great. And Karen, our comedy teacher, Carrie's gonna be there. Hey, Karen, if we'll put you on stage to do a set, will you go? Yeah, yeah. Renee says, I've been watching and didn't realize it was live. Can't wait for the cook-off tomorrow. Renee's another warrior and success story. Wendy loves the Bravo soup. I got to tell you something though, Wendy, even though we're calling it Bravo soup, apparently he didn't create it because I got a letter from Dr. Gracie Ewan, who was a former staff doctor at True North that has her own place now in, I believe it's Columbus, Ohio, a 6-bed fasting center. She wrote me a really nice letter saying it was a doctor that named Dr. Scott that created that recipe. So we should
Yeah.
actually call it Scott soup. But since Bravo taught it to me, it'll be Bravo soup, you know? Judy says, I don't think I would have survived with this way of living without the Instant Pot. Yep. Rose says, I learned how to use the Instant Pot from Mary McDougall. She made it so easy. Yeah, it is easy. It's literally, I don't use all those buttons. It's just, I just push the one button. I live in Vegas. I can't afford it. I'm sorry. I wish there were volunteer opportunities, but the problem is for volunteering, you don't get to see the conference. So that's that's unfortunate, but I know that the producer is taking payment plans if that would work for you. I mean, I wish, many things that we do are completely free, but conferences, unfortunately, the hotels charge I mean, they charge like every meal, like $60, whether
Wow.
it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So I think that's like the minimum. That might be breakfast. It's not cheap to do them in hotels. When we did conferences in churches, which we did for many years, we could get away with charging $97 for one day. But unfortunately, to have it in a hotel with AV and, make it really, really nice, there is a cost involved. So, but
Do you
still,
think it'll be
it's
recorded?
that I mean, I don't think it will be live streamed for sure. But I think that I don't see why they couldn't film it while they're doing it. And maybe they can do something with that. But I don't know if it would be for the general public. We're keeping everything in the membership group. So, but we will definitely do that for sure. Oh, Renee's going to be at True North May 14th for 3 weeks. I'm going to probably be there in August for 3 weeks. I'm just waiting till my cancer treatment is done. And then I want to just really just, detox completely. Where is this doctor in Columbus, Ohio? That's where Jackie lives. I don't know where her exact center is, but it's called Gracie Ewan and it's spelled Yuen Wellness Center. Pretty sure it's Columbus. It's a 6-bed fasting center. And she did all of her training and worked for years as a staff doctor at True North. Add leek to the soup. So Anne, if leek is in the onion family right now while I'm healing from pancreatitis, I can't have any spices other than salt, no onion, no garlic, no nothing. So it's pretty bland over here, but I'm happy just to have food. And I do eat bread, they make me a special gluten-free, oil-free bread at Weimar where the conference was, and it tastes really good, because I didn't eat bread for so many years. I'm not expecting it to taste like the way I remember bread, so I don't have this expectation of San Francisco sourdough or whole wheat. It's more like this little brick, but it tastes good to me. It's basically like millet and applesauce. It's, many people would not call it bread. It's bread-like. Yeah, very much bread-like. Yeah. Let's see. We got to go back to Instagram. They told me they were not doing payment options. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, if that really is the deal breaker, write help@chefaj.com and can see if I have any pull with that. So yeah, I will say this. I don't know if this is still the case, but in the past, if you bought something on PayPal, you could stretch it out for 6 months interest free. So if anybody knows if that's still the case, I remember that being a thing back in the day when I used to, you know, do things, even programs in my house. People would do, you know, they would spread $150 over 6 payments of like $30 each, like that. Apple says, my most used appliances are my Vitamix and my Excalibur. At one point, I would tell you it was my juicer. I had started juicing, but right now, oh God, juice kills me. So yeah, I should be on my heating pad. I wish somebody would make a heating pad that so I wouldn't have to hold it and I could just wear it like a belt,
Mhm.
That would be, and they probably do have that. I know they have that for ice. And I use the microwavable heating pad because I don't want to fall asleep on an electric one because I'm told that's not very good.
I have an electric one that I got on Amazon that's actually quite large for my back, and it turns off after a certain amount of time. So then you wouldn't have to worry about, like, it's automatic, it shuts off.
That's good. That's good. That's a good safety feature, kind of like the newer flat irons. I
Mhm.
remember One time I was at the movie and I forgot to turn my flat iron off. So poor Charles left the movie. It was a Joseph
Oh.
Gordon-Levitt movie, but now the flat iron does turn itself off. And
Mhm.
Belinda says, if you tried matcha, yes, and I have some in my freezer. It to me, it's good, but it's more like a cracker and it has to be toasted. But yes, I do like it very much. The bread that they're making me at Weimar is a little bit more lighter, I would say. But yes, I do. Pacha bread is so small, you've got to eat like 8 pieces. So, but I do like it, and they sell it at Whole Foods only, I believe, in the freezer section, and
Mhm.
it must be toasted, I think, to be eaten, if I'm not mistaken. But I do like it, and they have muffins now, and they have buns. The buns have a tiny, tiny bit of oil. But yes, I actually had the lady inventor of it on the show right when it came out. And who knew it was going to be such a big hit? That company's doing awesome. Yeah. Oh, PayPal. Okay, so Laura says PayPal does have it, and it's in 4 installments. So that might be an option for you. Thank you for looking that up. I got the stainless steel Vitamix container and love it, says Trisha. But if it's stainless steel, how can you see on the inside to like see if it's like when I like to be able to look in, like if I'm making something to see if like it's all pureed. How can you see in with the stainless steel one? I'm wondering. Anybody know? Okay. I wish that Vitamix would make the lines so that I could read them easier, you know? Like Blendtec, it's black and you can use it as a measuring cup. Yeah, a heating pad that wraps around would be awesome. And maybe it's in there. Homedics brand, Vicky is suggesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, I got nothing. You got anything, Susanna, you want to
I'm
share?
good. I'm good. See
I'm
you
good.
tomorrow.
Yes, yes. So guys, if you want to join us tomorrow, we have our first ever cook along. We're going to be making the mango rita, the creamy cucumber salad, the Asian noodle. We're calling it Zen noodles, and we're going to make carob goodies. And what's the fifth recipe? Uh-oh, there were five, and I
Hi,
only
peanut free sauce.
yeah, yeah, Thai peanut-free sauce. So we'd love for you to join us in general. And next week is Dr. Matt Letterman. And then just on this regular channel next Friday or this Friday is Dr. Ron Weiss. I don't know if you guys follow him at all, but his right-hand lady, Asha Gala, was just diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer. They did a Zoom and she's a mindfulness teacher. And I think all roads that I'm learning lead for cancer is mindfulness because that's really kind of like the answer, like what we talked about at the beginning of this stream. Surrender to what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. And just hug your puppies and children and husband and tell them you love them because man, life is just fleeting. That's the best way I can put it. You just never know, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, you're my Shiro, Susanna. I just want to be you when I grow up. I want to be I want to be lovely.
You
Um,
are. You already are.
yeah, I do refrain from all. It's a bit. I'm going through allergy testing again now. So I did try a pizza crust that had part rice flour, part chickpea. I just don't know what it is about the legume family, but I get so sick. Even when I did the Dr. Furman experiment, 1 bean, the next day 2 beans, and by 20, I was just doubled over in pain. So I think it's more of a GI issue than maybe a true anaphylactic issue. But yeah, I just, I mean, I feel like one of the things I'll tell you about the community is going to be a no judgment zone, no shaming zone. I mean, I don't even care if you're vegan, to be honest. I can't help you write recipes that aren't, but it's like this diet. I'm going to make a video about this one by myself, about why I'm no longer an SOS free vegan. Of course, I'm vegan and I'm oil free, but there's just so much like judgment and like perfectionism, and it gets annoying after a while, like that, like this like that you must eat this, or you're not a good vegan, or for even Forks Over Knives has loosened their belt and is putting oil in their recipes now. Are you aware of that, Susanna?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was a big thing happening. A lot of people, some people were really happy about it, and some people were upset about that. So yeah, um, I feel like I just don't want to. I actually have it's funny, I have this policeman hat that I'm trying to regift because when we were doing the programs in person like 15 years ago in my home in Sherman Oaks with John Pierre, I'd have this like policeman's hat and a whistle, like, I was the diet police. But now I just keep my eyes on my own plate and I try to just make healthy and delicious recipes. That's for sure. I bet you guys, if we search, there is a wraparound heating pad. I just like the microwavable ones so that, because I want to be able to walk around with it. I don't want to be able to have to like lay in bed and plug it in. So if anybody knows about that product, let me know. So thanks for all your good thoughts, your good wishes, and your gifts. Don't have to send anything, please. Colleen, I don't think was here today. So uh, um, yes, this is very good. Dr. Furman vanilla powder. I highly recommend it, but you don't have to get this big of a bag because they have smaller bags if you want to try it. And it doesn't expire until the last day of the year in 2027. But I bet you, I'm going to mark the day that I open it. Bet you 1 year. I bet you anything. It's going to last for 1 year. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Susanna, and for everyone that's going to be at the cook along. I hope the kickoff is everything I hope it will be. And yeah, I'll be there no matter, what did they say? Come hell or high water. If I can do that job with pancreatitis on day 1 through, 7, I'm sure I'll be able to do it on day 16, which is tomorrow. So keep me in your thoughts. And if you are somebody that believes in prayer, keep me in your prayers. If you don't believe in that, send me a joke. I love your jokes. I actually, Eileen, who made the beautiful quilt, sent me a hilarious joke, but unfortunately it's not for, it's only for very adult audiences. So yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Susanna. I'll see you soon and I hope to see you guys soon. And